Hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Kit Kat Ginger. My pronouns are she, her, and today we are doing a apartment build in Evergreen Harbor. Stone Street Apartments number 3 is the lot in the apartments that came with Eco. And the purpose of this build was to play around with the Pastel Pop and Clutter kits that came out. I know I already posted the Cat Cafe that uses a lot of the Pastel Pop and Clutter kits, but I built this one first, but decided to post the Cat Cafe because I liked it a lot more. But I do like this build. It has 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom, and is basically for like parents, a teen, and a child, which is what that strawberry room ends up being, is a little room for a child. And the bigger bedroom is, of course, the parents' room. And it took me a little while to figure out like what restrictions I wanted. So we just use the Pastel Pop kit, the Clutter kit, Eco Lifestyle, and Base Game for this build, as well as the curtain rod and 2 curtains from the Desert Luxe kit. So if you're a newer Sims player and you don't have that yet, you can, replace those curtains that are missing. I do end up making the kitchen a little bit smaller. I tend to start with the kitchen just because it is simple and easy, and every kitchen has to have a stove and a fridge and a sink, generally, unless it's like a kitchenette, not a full kitchen. But full kitchens are pretty easy, so I usually start with those. And it kind of helps me figure out the rest of the style for the build. So we add lots of clutter in here, which is why I did those custom shelves so I could place things wherever I wanted. Added that bag by the door, those not curtains, oh my goodness, aprons that came with a base game update. And here I am just cluttering up the shelves with like mugs and the towels and water bottle thing that came with the clutter kit. It's a bit weird to have like dumbbells in your kitchen, but if you don't have anywhere else to store them, putting it there makes sense. And then those little tubs at the top, which I all placed a few as well. Just adding some more clutter into the shelves and to the countertops. I think I flip the side that that the knife block and the spoons are on, but I'll do that in a little bit. Adding some book clutter. So I feel like, if you live in an apartment, you kind of have to, as I live in an apartment, you have to kind of like utilize the space that you have in the best possible way. Sometimes it doesn't, at least for me, it doesn't always look great. A little bit messy, but it's not like terrible. Just a little messy. But I don't have to be messy here, although I do add a couple of clutter items that make it a little bit more lived in. That's what my house is. It's lived in. I live here. Just adding a few more clutter items to the shelves, and then just shifting. It probably isn't safe to have the knife block on a shelf, but I leave it there because I want to make sure that at least a few of the counters are functional, because Sims tend to, that was my dog shaking his whole body so that his collar makes that noise. But yeah, I will make the kitchen a little bit smaller just because it's kind of big, and I use that space instead to make the teens room a little bit larger so that I can use the bed that came with the Pastel Pop kit. But like I said, this build uses Eco, Pastel Pop, and Clutter kits, and then Base Game, as well as the Desert Luxe curtain rods. So, if you don't have that, that's fine. That's easy to switch out. It takes me a few minutes to like figure out what color to put on the walls there, because I wanted to break up the siding that came with the Eco pack with just like a little bit more of a simpler wall and a pop of color although all the color pops are the same in this room at least. I end up leaving the living room orientation like that and then flipping the dining table so that there's a little bit more walking space and space to actually get to those chairs. So it should all be functional in terms of walking around. I do size down the coffee table, so it might be something that you can't really walk around just because of the footprint of it, but I thought that it was like, it's too big. So I used that journal to sort of lay out the alt placement and then just put a bunch of clutter on that table so that, you know, it looks lived in. And here I am just adding the finishing touches to the living room area. I add those little plant, I think they're kind of like, yeah, those, they're not really paintings, but they're in that category of decoration. So I add those and size them down to make it a little bit more cohesive. The only pastel pop kit stuff that I used in the living room, I think was like in the like main space was that cork board, the little trash can that looks like Sully from Monsters Inc., and then the sofa and the rug, the ones with the more neutral colors. But I think it's pretty, I think everything goes together pretty well. Try not to say cute as much as I did in the last video. Here I am doing the teens room with mostly pastel pop kit and then some of the eco items, not very many though. I thought about using that desk, but I went with a desk. Wait, I think I said desk instead of dresser. I thought about using the Eco Lifestyle dresser, but use a desk instead from the pastel pop kit. Just because I think this is, if it's a teens room, like it makes sense for them to have like such a cutesy desk. I flip out the lights that I was using because I did just have the little saucer lights, so I use different variants of lighting around there. I go with that basic light for in the teens room though, because I think it makes sense for it to be like that. And then I put that rabbit and like I'll place a little plant there. You can kind of see the rabbit's ears popping out of it, but don't look too closely. But I put that there with the plant so that, because I think it makes sense for the binders to be on the desk as well, but I use them in the kitchen, so I wanted to hide the rabbit to make it look a little bit different. And then I placed 2 of those flowery pastel pop kit paintings, and then with the butterflies to mix it up a little bit. I end up using this purple and pink and green like checkered rug in the teens room. I think it looks really nice and definitely goes with the colors that are happening in here with the teals and the purple and pinks happening. Some more clutter, just cluttering up the desk quite a bit. I had a little hamper there in the corner and a few other like kind of kids items like a bear and like a couple of other like random toys, because if it's like a teen that's like early teens or a preteen, then I think it would make sense that they have like a little bit of their childhood relics sitting around. Not relics, but memorabilia, I guess is the word. If you hear a dog barking, that's my dog. He has to bark at people sometimes who are in the parking lot of the apartment complex. He has to let them know that he's here to protect. And this is pretty much it for the teens room. I add those posters in and then that little shelf later from the pastel pop kit. But this is pretty much it. And now we're gonna move on to the kids room. I put a bunk bed, the dollhouse. I thought about using that shelf in here, but I end up deleting it eventually because it's kind of doesn't fit for like a kid's room. I moved the rug in the living room here to be under the dining table and then just use the carpet from the pastel pop kit because I try to like break it up a little bit. And I do end up using that strawberry rug in the pink swatch, but then changing that back wall to like just a solid blue so that it's not as busy. I tried a couple of different rug options in here because, as you know, I think that we need more rugs. So I tried a lot of different ones. It took a while, but I do end up using the one from that kit, the little strawberry one. It's super cute. Here I am about to delete this dresser, but I placed a couple of toys around, again, to make it look lived in, and I go through debug to like look for clutter as well, but don't end up having a lot of debug clutter. Here I am just playing around with these clouds. I end up using them, which is again another reason that I changed that wall there to the solid blue. So I think it just brings everything together and goes with that cloud light, even though you have to have another light in there just because it's so dark. I flip a few things around, like the dollhouse and the toy box, and put a little, the little unicorn underneath the bed. I love that unicorn. I want one. And there I am placing that shelf. So I used the Pastel Pop Kit shelf in here. I think it looks a little bit weird in the kids' room just because it looks very like, not Art Deco, but I think it's like Avant Basic is the style type. So it looks a little out of place in the kids' room. Just a little though, which is why I outplaced like a couple of other toys on there. But maybe those sculptures that are on there, the kid did, who knows? Here I am going through debug, just trying to find stuff to put in the kids' room, but I don't end up putting very much. I like pulled out that giant dinosaur that just chills in Oasis Springs, but he doesn't size down enough, so he had to go. He couldn't live in the apartment. So I built this over 2 days because, you know, sometimes you have to go do other things. So I finish up the bathroom and the parents' room on the second day. I go with the tub and sink, or no, the tub and toilet from Eco Lifestyle. It has a little swatch that has the pink pop of color on it. So I go with those because it sort of matches the decor. This is the third time, I think today, that I'm trying to do this voiceover. The first time I did the whole thing and my mic source was wrong, so it was silence. But I did double check again. I don't know why that happens. It's super annoying, but it's something that I need to pay attention to more if I'm going to be doing this more often. I messed around with the tiles and the wallpaper in here a little bit just because I was trying to make it look like slightly different and break it up. And with the pink on the tub and the toilet, there wasn't a lot of options that like matched, but I do end up doing like, I think maybe, I can't remember. You think I would, having recorded this so many times. I think I do the white tile and then just like the purple walls there. I do end up putting a platform under the tub after I put in these columns. That white column is not ideal, but with only base game, it's a little tough to have different columns. But I raised it up eventually and put the columns there in the wall so that it blocks off where the paint swatches change, and then also so I can put the curtains to kind of mimic a shower curtain. I don't know many shower curtains that open in the middle, but you know, I think I have seen it before. Also, apologies for the background noise. The heater just kicked on. It's very cold here. If you're in the US and you are the only people who use Fahrenheit, it feels like 15 degrees outside with the wind, which I think is like -9 in Celsius. So it's very cold, which is why the air conditioning, the heat turned on. I end up using these like little debug lights from Eco, but I move them to behind the bed because That wall is like blank, and I think with them on the other walls it didn't make sense to have them there, but it works to put them in above the bed, because then you have that pop of color. It's not, or the design, it's not too busy, and it also is a light, which is nice. I used those tile nightstands from the Pastel Pop kit in that blue because it looks really pretty and matches the blues that are in the eco stuff. So, which is why I thought that these packs went really well together. The styles aren't very similar, but the coloring tends to be similar, which is helpful because the Sims swatches, they don't match very easily. I think I ended up putting a little white rug underneath that desk in the parents' room. Honestly, you could probably fit 2 bathrooms in here if you remove the desk from the parents' room, because you could always have a bathroom right in this area, but I think 1 bathroom is fine. It's realistic for an apartment especially. Then I'm just cluttering up the desk. I alt place most of this stuff just because I don't like where it slots. And I make the computer a little bit smaller. Once again, I love the clutter kit. It's probably one of my favorite kits that we've ever gotten. Just because I was saying, you know, in my first speed build that I posted, the like autumn house, that we need more clutter. So I really, really like this new kit, even though I'm not a huge fan of kits on print in the principle of the thing, but I like the items. So and I feel like it's better than having to use like CC all the time. This is the window in the parents' room here where I end up using the Desert Luxe kit curtains because they're really pretty, and then the curtain rod, you can change it. So that's what happened there. And I ended up putting it in the bathroom as well. I probably should have changed it to like a white rod, but I didn't. So, but I used that in there so that it's just covers up. It looks a little less weird, I feel. And then I'm just shimmying out the items here. I'm pretty close to being done. There are just a few last minute touches that I do, like changing the color of the curtains and then doing the hallway table. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this build and learning the things that came with the Pastel Pop kit. So I will let you watch the rest of this. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much for watching. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Like, that's what thumbs up is. Give it a like, subscribe, if you want to make sure you catch the next one, and leave a comment if you have any suggestions of builds that you're interested in seeing me do, or that you just want to see done in The Sims. And yeah, I will catch you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you later. Bye.